The families of the victims of the Mountain Bee pub fire say they distrust local officials in handling the investigation. Electricity prices to reach a record high in Thailand, and Bangkok's plan to bring cables underground runs out of power. All this is coming up in today's program. You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories in Thailand and beyond. My name is Jet Gunther, and in our first story, representatives of the injured or deceased from the Mountain Bee pub fire are calling for the Crime Suppression Division to take over the investigation, citing a distrust for local officials. The death toll from the fire has now totaled 19 people, while 26 more are still being hospitalized, many on life support. Ranarong Gaopet, an activist lawyer well known for fighting for the underprivileged and underdogs in cases like this, has lent his services to help escalate the case in the fight for justice. The lawyer revealed that the families of the victims are concerned that local police will not adequately handle the investigation, as it may uncover possible corruption with a vested interest in the pub, connecting it to influential people or local officials in the area. And while 55-year-old Somyot Pan Prasong has turned himself in as the owner of the pub, there has been continuous speculation on whether police or government officials are involved with the club, helping it skirt legal issues. The almost insultingly low payments received by the families of victims don't even start to cover the medical bills, and people want clear answers about what compensation they will receive and who will be held responsible for all the lives lost. Electricity prices are already at a record high of 4 baht per unit, and they're now being approved to surge another 18%. When global oil prices rocketed up to $110 per barrel in 2014, Thai energy prices hit 3.96 baht per unit. When global oil prices rocketed up to $110 per barrel back in 2014, Thai energy prices hit 3.96 baht per unit. Coming out of the pandemic, the demand for all forms of energy has soared, pushing electricity costs to 4 baht, and now, for the fourth quarter, 4.72 baht per kilowatt hour. On Monday, the Energy Regulatory Commission declared the approval of the 18% energy price hike and said it will be in effect for the last quarter of the year, from September through the end of December. A rise in the raw materials that help power Thailand is to blame, as demand increases and instability like the war in Ukraine hinders some energy production. Thailand derives some of its electricity from domestic gas produced in the Gulf of Thailand's Erawan gas block, but production has slowed and reliance has increased on imported liquefied natural gas, which is much more expensive. Domestically produced gas like this costs about $6 to $7 per metric million standard cubic feet per day, and import prices can be anywhere from $25 to $50. The Ministry of Energy said it is still working on solutions to reduce the effect on the people who cannot afford the price hike the most. Bomb explosions were reported last night at a number of petrol stations and convenience stores in Thailand's 3 Deep South provinces of Yala, Pattani, and Narathiwat. The media reported the bomb explosions went off between 12:20 a.m. to 12:40 a.m. in 6 districts of Narathiwat, affecting 6 branches of 7-Eleven stores and a mini Big C. There is currently no confirmation about the loss of life and injuries from the incidents. 2 more bombs were reported in Pattani. The first one went off in a Bangkok petrol station, while the second bomb happened at a mini Big C. No deaths or injuries were reported either. Another 4 bombs hit convenience stores in 4 districts in Yala province, including 3 branches of 7-Eleven stores and a mini Big C. In Yala, one witness informed the police of seeing 4 suspects riding motorbikes and throwing bombs into the convenience stores. Now, every convenience store in Yala is temporarily closed for the safety of staff and residents. The forensics team reported they would be investigating the scenes to gather more evidence to find the insurgents today. Deposed Burmese leader Aung San Suu Kyi has received an additional jail term sentence, this time 6 years for corruption, adding to the 11 years she has already been sentenced to previously. Having served as the equivalent of the Prime Minister of Myanmar in the short period it introduced democracy, she was immediately jailed when the military junta overthrew the democratic government on February the 1st of 2021. She was sentenced previously to 11 years in jail for breaking COVID restrictions, as well as telecommunication laws, and for corruption and incitement against the military. She's also being prosecuted for various charges of electoral fraud and violating the Official Secrets Act, which could imprison her for dozens of more years. Now facing 17 confirmed years in jail, the Nobel Prize laureate has received support from leadership around the world who decried the ruling as unjust. The European Union foreign policy chief called for her immediate release, while the U.S. State Department spokesperson condemned the action as an affront to justice. The long prison sentence means that Suu Kyi will not be eligible to be a candidate should the military junta keep its promise of elections next year, dimming hopes for a democratic future that she has represented for decades. Many in Myanmar recognize this as a major motivation behind the long sentence. Human Rights Watch has condemned the sentence, along with recent executions and the entire military crackdown that has seen 17,000 arrests and over 2,000 deaths. The group monitoring the junta action locally railed against their latest actions. A statement read, "The junta's fabricated trials, torture of detainees, and execution of activists highlights its broader disregard for the lives of Myanmar's people." The Bangkok Deputy Governor Wisanu Sapsompon appealed to the private and public sectors to come together and complete the capital's perpetual cable problem. The Deputy Governor revealed that the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration might have to cancel the project to bury the city's underground power lines altogether unless it can find some way of coming up with more funds. Wisanu added that the BMA expected companies in the private sector responsible for a number of the city's mobile networks to contribute to the cost of burying them underground. The private sector refused to rent, however, saying the rental fee is just too expensive. And with Krungthep Thanakom Company that is in charge of the project saying it does not have the 19 billion baht to complete the job, the city has been left with a conundrum. The Deputy Governor insists that the only way to complete the project is to get support from the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission, but they have failed to answer the call as of yet. Wisanu made known that some parts of the project have been completed while other work is ongoing. The BMA completed burying 7.2 kilometers for 140 million baht, while 1 kilometer of a communication line on Rama1 Road is still under construction. The Metropolitan Electricity Authority has buried 62 kilometers of power lines, while work for 174 more kilometers is incomplete. 12 kilometers of that work is expected to be finished this year, and about 77 kilometers are expected to be completed by 2027. Wisanu reported that while the underground power line project will be temporarily suspended, the BMA would continue removing dead communication and power lines to make the city tidier. And that concludes our report for today. The show will be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.